Um, well, I've had an interesting look around, and there's one thing that I found very interesting, organized by the WWF. They were talking about seagrass and
Okay.
seagrass regeneration projects, which within the UK, which I think is a really interesting and often overlooked subject. Seagrass and the ocean absorbs 70% of our CO2 emissions, I think it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So really vital in the fight against climate change, and it's often overlooked when we talk about tree planting and stopping deforestation. And one of the key things that has been destroying our marine ecosystems has been overfishing, and that's been ripping out a lot of seagrass beds in the UK. That's something that I'll be definitely looking out for, looking definitely at the marine aspect and how that links into my interests. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, with the new technology coming along with fishing, I mean, fishing's just such a big thing with these ships and industrial equipment and these sorts of things doing all the fishing. I mean, is it not possible, do you think, Costa, at this time to use technology solutions to know where fishing boats are, to know when they're fishing, when they're not fishing? I mean, I was horrified to see that fleets of fishing boats are now sort of heading towards the Galapagos. And we had Alistair talking on the webinar on Wednesday about the fishing situation with the world's tuna in Papua New Guinea. I mean, is it going to be possible, do you think, to really try and get this much more under control than's been done to date, Costa?
Well, I think that there's two main issues. The first is the rise of illegal, unregulated fishing, especially in parts of the world which are much more undeveloped. So parts of Africa, South America are really struggling with this, especially because of foreign European and Chinese mainly fishing vessels. For example, in Ethiopia, the Ethiopians are only able to get something like 25% of the overall catch. The rest of it is European and Chinese fishing vessels, which are essentially kind of legally, but often unregulated kind of destruction of the ecosystem. They're just taking loads of fish out. And so the illegal, unregulated fishing is a huge problem. And there are a couple of organizations such as Sea Shepherd, which are really fighting against that and reducing that. And the other issue is that governments over the world paying huge subsidies to huge industrial fishing vessels, which is really a big problem. If fishing was done in a more sustainable, localized way with small boats, first of all, it would benefit small communities, coastal communities, much more, and it would be much harder to overfish. What we see with these industrial vessels is through kind of developments in technology, is less people are needed, more fish can be taken, and it can be done in a way where there's a lot more bycatch, and there's a huge disconnect with what people are actually catching. Huge amounts of bycatch are caused, and there's much less care for the environment because they can travel much further out. So what we need is this huge industrial fishing, which is just benefiting large corporations, to end, and for there to be a revival of kind of artisanal, small-scale fishing.
Costa, you are so on top of this issue. I'm just blown away. So for me, there's a couple of things here. One is that subsidies, we know about the huge subsidies that are going on. We know about subsidies for fossil fuels, but wow, this is the first time I've heard about subsidies for fishing ships, fishing vessels. So look, while you're here, just do everything you can to support stopping this, because this is utter nonsense. And the second thing is, what you've talked about is that the illegal fishing is being done not by the smaller countries, it's being done by the European and Chinese, they're big countries. So surely the countries, to my mind, these countries should be using technology. They should be having sensors as to where the ships are, and they should, by law, have to have sensors as to whether they're fishing or whether they're just, driving about. So whatever you can do over this next few days to move that forward, I think be a massive impact on the world. So thank you, Costa. And